Thank you for coming to our presentation today. We'll be speaking about how our school has implemented mother tongue throughout our program. Today, what we'll be doing is going through our current program, giving you some information on how we got started, our growth from one language at the start of our school into 6 languages, the benefits of mother tongue instruction, student perspectives, and at the end I'll be giving some information on logistics and how you can make it at your school, or things you'd have to think about before looking at going down that area. At the end we'll also have time for some questions, and as we were introduced as well, I'm the principal for the primary school, Dubai International. Gert Simmons here, who works with Language One, which is the Dutch provider for the mother tongue program. And Teresa and Rule are students who have been with us since kindergarten. Teresa's been within the German program and Rule has been within the Dutch. Do you want to hit the next slide for me? Try the button over to the side. That's it. Okay, so at the moment we have quite a comprehensive mother tongue program in Dubai. I don't know whether any other schools are offering more mother tongue classes than we are. By mother tongue, I mean classes that are offered in a child's mother tongue or home language within school time. Currently, we have Dutch, German, Danish, Swedish, Finnish and French, and we're able to offer those classes for 3 hours per week. The primary lessons are placed against Islamic studies. I'll be talking a bit about the timetable and the issues of how to make this work within your school. But the main reason that we have it against Islamic studies is because at present we don't have any of the mother tongue children who are of Muslim faith. But as a KHDA and government requirement anyway, if we did, they would have to go to Islamic studies rather than taking a mother tongue class. We've recently moved towards including mother tongue in the middle years program as well. We now offer the same amount of classes, the same types of classes or languages in the middle years program for 2 periods per week, and we also supplement that with some after school classes so they have extra time. There's 196 students enrolled in primary and 46 in secondary, and in the diploma program, if you're aware of the diploma program, we also have classes which are in self-taught language A. But today we're going to be really focusing on the primary side of our mother tongue program. After school, we've got Arabic, Chinese, Finnish, Italian, Hindi, Urdu and Spanish as after school classes which are offered by after school groups, but that's outside the school and works like an outside operated after school activity. So we'll be focusing on the mother tongue program that's happening within our school day at the moment. Thanks, Teresa. So our school started in 2005 and we started with a very large Dutch population. I think it was mainly due to building the Palm and some of the areas out there by Van Oord company. And the Dutch government are very progressive in that if a school has a certain amount of Dutch children, they will support offering tuition within a school. So we started by offering Dutch mother tongue in 2005. And it became very popular with the Dutch community, and our school over the years have pretty much settled on about 85 nationalities, difference of nationalities within our school. So it wasn't long before other nationalities who are quite well represented wanted to start exploring about how they could offer mother tongue as well. So German was started by a parent group in 2008, which was followed by Swedish and Danish 2011, Finnish in 2012, and we also offered a mother tongue program in French starting this year. We also offer as a school, our language B is French as well, but the French mother tongue is the first one that we're operating for this year. And we've also got current interest from Chinese, Portuguese, Spanish and Hindi, as well as other groups that come up on the years, and we'll talk a bit about how we move from interest to actually having a program involved. Thanks, Teresa. So next I'm just going to pass over to Gert Simmons from Language One, who's the provider for not just our Dutch language program but other Dutch language programs within Dubai. Who's just going to talk about some of the reasons why mother tongue is so important to our school and to schools in general.
Good morning. My name is Geert Simons and I'm working for Language One. I'm here today with our global director, Mr. Jaap Mos. Language One is an organization that offers mother tongue education to students, but we also assist schools in developing their mother tongue program. We are doing that worldwide, and we work with renowned schools like, for example, DIA in Dubai, but we also do it in Muscat and in Perth and in other locations in the world. So, why mother tongue programs? Well, there are first obvious reasons why doing it. The reasons that all people immediately know, yeah, we have to do it because when students return to their home country, then they can just enroll in a national school without having any problems. That's very obvious. And also, when their grandmother is talking, for example, Dutch, and they don't know any Dutch, then they can't communicate with their family. So it tightens the bonds with the family. And also, bilingualism is an asset. On the job market, people who speak multiple languages fluently, they are very well sought for. So these are all obvious, but there are also more hidden benefits for mother tongue education. Benefits for both the student and the school. Mother tongue education is very well linked to results at school. It shows that when a student academically knows his mother tongue and academically develops his mother tongue, that shows into his results in learning into another language, English for example, as well, because most of our students in Dubai, they're learning, they're gathering knowledge in a language that is not their own, English. So their mother tongue helps them to learn at school, and that reflects on their results as well. Not only that, it also helps them to learn that other language. So it doesn't only help them to learn in English, but it also helps them to learn English as a subject too. Also, it has social aspects. It helps students to, when they just arrive, to adjust in a new situation, in a new school. And often the mother tongue program is a safe haven for them. Like they've been there in that English setting the whole day and, now 45 minutes of Dutch. And it helps them to settle as well. Also, very important, language is linked to cognitive growth. Many cognitive skills will first they will first get those skills in their own language and then transfer them to the school context as well. And yeah, for schools also, student is more than just his level of English. So often we used to look at the child, oh, problem, his or her English is not good. Well, a child is more than that level of English. And as a school, when you acknowledge his home culture, his home language, then you actually acknowledge the child. So you actually say, you're welcome, and we'll work on your English as well, but we know that you're much more than just that level of English. These are shortly all the benefits, but please feel free if you want to know more to get my contact details after the presentation. And I would like to give word to Peru and Teresa.
Brave in coming out here today and speaking in front of grown-ups. They're used to it at school. But they've been with us, as I said, from KG, from our kindergarten, and have both been with the start of the mother tongue programs. And they just wanted to speak a bit about why it's been important to them and why they've been a benefit from it.
I'll be talking about how it helps you keep up with your own country. And if you move back to your home country, if like I'll be moving back next year. So if you move back, then how it will make the transition easier. So first, when you come here, you know you speak Dutch fluently, and if you come here for a long time, then after a while you'll lose all the knowledge you had, like small rules that you have to write well and read well, and not just know how to speak it fluently. And so if you move back again, then you will not have to start all over again. You have to do most of it, but you don't have to start all over again because of your mother tongue in your old school. So I think that really helps to go back. And then I'll be handing over to Teresa.
I think mother tongue programs help you when you come here new to the school and you just feel like you're in a new environment and you don't feel that comfortable. But if you have the mother tongue programs, you can see that someone speaks your language and someone's in the same culture as you, and it's easier then for you to communicate with those people and feel safer. We also have the ESL programs, which help also to come to the new environment, but I think the mother tongue programs just really help you. It also helps you for learning about your culture and your history in your own home country. You even get to celebrate it in class, and you learn how to behave in your home country and what you do in celebrations, and it's actually really fun. Thank you very much.
So I think it ties well with the, if you're in the presentation that was on before this session about happiness as well. It is a great contributor to creating a sense of community within our school with so many mother tongue groups, and it gives value to the other countries. There's a lot of, you've probably heard the term third culture kids. This is a wonderful support for those students. And it helps with the diversity of our school as well. We're always looking to keep our diversity as much as possible. In doing that, and I'll talk a bit about setting up for the logistics, but it helps diversity by giving back, I suppose, to that community and looking to include as many students from those countries that we have mother tongue at our school, which we do have a preference for, obviously, in keeping those programs alive. So I'm just going to run through the bits and pieces at the moment about, if you're interested in setting up this program, the sort of things you'd want to think about or keep in mind. We are more than happy to be in touch with your school if you'd like more information about this. Gert has been fantastic in talking to other mother tongue groups that have wanted to start over the years, and that sharing of best practice is very important when starting this off. So regulations-wise, mother tongue is held within the school time. So we have an undertaking with a group when they want to start, and they undertake to fulfil all the obligations that any other school would in creating program. So that involves ensuring that the teacher that's teaching for mother tongue is a qualified teacher in their home country, that they have all the visas, all the paperwork in place as well for that, that they have backup as well in case of illness. It's a program that's going on all the time, so we want to be able to keep it going without it faltering throughout the year as well. The curriculum they use needs to be based on one of the curriculums within their country. So some countries will have different ones depending on the states, but it has to be an official curriculum. Timetables, and that's where it gets into a tricky part if any of you are involved in making timetables. In each of our language groups at the moment, we've got approximately 30 children. We have 5 classes per year level, and we offer the mother tongue from years 1 to 6. To make it operational, we really need to be able to bring those 5 classes together at the same time. So when looking at setting up the timetable, you've got to look at how that's done. We do it through Islamic at the moment. In previous years, what we have done is we have had a 3-class, 2-class split. So we've had, say, all the Dutch, German, Swedish, Finnish, Danish within 3 classes, and we break up our class distributions at the end of each year, which enables us to do that. So if you don't do that, it does make it hard. The trouble with that is you do end up with 3 classes with all those language groups. So it doesn't help with the diversity within the school. So you really want to be able to spread it as much as possible. Part of the commitment with starting with the mother tongue is that it is offered from years 1 to 6. We have some groups where they might only have 2 students, say in year 2. They still have to be offered the same program as everybody else. Communication. It's very important that the school is in communication with the mother tongue teachers, as if you'd be a normal teacher within the school. There's safety, behaviour, all of those sort of issues, changes to the school day, that it's important to have that communication. It can't just be treated as an after-school add-on activity. The other one that's always a very tricky one is space. We have to commit to having a classroom for each mother tongue as it occurs. So at the moment, with the number of mother tongues we have, we're able to accommodate, fortunately, in sort of half rooms because of the size of the groups, the mother tongues at the moment. But if we're looking at including the ones that I mentioned before, like Hindi, Portuguese, we've got to keep coming up with new rooms each time. So it's something you have to think about, and being able to make that commitment to that space within your school as well. Feasibility, how to know whether you can actually make it work. When a parent comes to us and says, look, we're really interested in doing this, the first thing we do is say, well, you need to get in touch with the community at our school. So we don't give out all the, let's say, Portuguese parents' emails to this person to contact them. We'll say, when you write a letter to us saying this is what you'd like to start, you'd just like to get an idea of how many people are interested, and then we can send it out from the school and ask them to contact the person who's interested in starting the mother tongue. So that's the first step, is seeing how many people are interested. The other step is having a look at the financial aspects of it. There's a minimum amount of students that you need to be able to afford to be able to keep a teacher and pay for the visa costs and all the other aspects, especially if you're bringing them from overseas as well. And where that has been great is being able to put other mother tongue language coordinators in touch with Gert, who can, or one of the other ones, who can say, well, what is the amount of students we really need to have here, and what is the cost that we'll be outlaying to the parents. In general, I think the average amount is looking at about 5,000 dirhams per child for a year in being in the mother tongue program. And if you break that up with 3 hours per week that is happening within the school compared to what tuition is like in Dubai, that's a significant saving. It really is great value for money. But it's about having that commitment from parents right at the start that they're going to be involved in that program and paying right from the start. You might have students who leave partway through the year. You can't be at a point where you can't afford to pay the teacher for that mother tongue class. And connecting the people to do a proper feasibility study at the start, have a look at how many numbers they've got, being able to source a teacher before being able to commit, and then taking a formal undertaking with the school as to how that program is going to be rolled out throughout the year. So it's right throughout the year. Tracy, you want to hit the next one? We understand that there might be many questions you have depending on the makeup of your school and what you'd be interested in. Both Gert, Teresa and Rule are here for questions as well. Would anyone like to start? Any questions about the mother tongue program at all? Yes?
Hi, my name is Dora Wozniak. I'm with Greenfield Community School, and we were approached recently by a Danish group of parents And we're just now looking into this, so this is why I'm really here, because we need to understand how we need to take it further
Yep,
than what the, and we looked at the feasibility, she needed 30 students.
yep.
So she wrote a letter in Danish, and I had to have someone translate it back to me so I could make sure what was being said. But we're just in the starting process, so does language one, how do they work with you?
Language One really look after the Dutch program. So they're a bit different than the other programs in that you get support from the Dutch government. Is that correct? On the financial aspect of it?
Yes, at the moment it's a bit hanging how long the support will keep going. But at the IA we focus on the Dutch children, but recently we actually told ourselves we have so much experience in Dutch, backed up by the government, we can as well spread the message to other languages as well. So we're actually keen on supporting other language groups as well. So I would be happy to sit together and see.
You know, Dutch is, we have about 87 nationalities at our
Yep.
school. Dutch would be a good one too, this group came to us just
Yep.
recently on their own. And our principal had been looking at how we can support the mother tongue in our school outside of our EAL program, because we know that's a whole different
Yep.
thing. So is your information, just call this number, send an email to this, can I get a card?
Yeah, or we sit together after the presentation.
I'm sure Gert will give you his personal number. He's a very friendly guy. But we can also put you in touch with the organiser for our Danish program as well. And if you'd like to come and visit the school and see how it's done,
I think bring them over the ladies.
yeah, feel free to come over. So there is some support from the Dutch government within for our Dutch program. The only other one is Swedish. To a lower level, they have been able to get support from their government as well. All the other ones are funded by parent bodies.
So that's what you meant on your slide, the parent group started the German program.
Yes. So they were a group of parents who came up with that idea. So we have had a number of mother tongue programs over the years that have come to us and done a feasibility study and then thought, actually, it's a bit much, because it is a big commitment. It takes organisation.
And also, talking about feasibility, I think your Danish group was quite right, saying 30 is our lowest number that we can have. But you can also support smaller language groups in other ways. You can go to after-school programs and group children from different schools, or you can...
That was the next question to him,
Ah.
but it's during he did answer, it's during the school day. I was thinking you had a program that the community
Yep.
came to you and let you know.
Well, we do have one that for after school.
So it's open up to other parents from other
Yep.
schools?
Yep, we have Finnish that have quite a big group that come to the school from the surrounding community. Chinese as well, I think. And I think the Hindi one as well come. And sometimes that's the way they start. They start with an after-school activity where you don't have the same sort of regulations as you would have during the school day. And then they start to gather support, see the sort of numbers they have. And on another aspect as well, I mean, it certainly helps with, admissions to your school. We have quite a long wait list, as most schools do here in Dubai anyway, but we have a particularly big wait list in these language groups because obviously as a parent, it's a big draw card. And we also, through those language groups, they will often get sponsorship from companies that come from those host countries, and they will contact the school looking for places as soon as possible. So, yeah. Any questions for our students?
Now, my question is to you now. When you run this Dutch program, you might have kids from different age group doing it. So do you have a beginners and an advanced program? How do you run it?
Well, if I speak in general about all the different language groups, they're all done by year level.
Oh.
And one of the great things about it is that, if you're talking about 30 students across 6 year levels, there's generally 5 students, per class. So you've got quite a small group, so you're really able to give individual attention. And much like a normal classroom anyway, you should be differentiating for the different learning needs. That'll be the same within the Dutch program?
Yeah, that's the same, because we have children who are born here, and we have children who come freshly from Holland, for example, so there are indeed big differences in their level of Dutch, but at the year level, the groups are small, so for the teacher it's easy to accommodate each child to his own or her own level.
Can I build on this? Actually? I feel encouraged. The Dutch program, as an example, only started with just a handful of students here in Dubai. Currently, you have 380.
Yeah,
That's a number registered. So there is a rapidly developing understanding of the community, of the language community, that working in your mother tongue is a critical element in being international. International mindedness and a strong belief in where you come from. They go hand in hand, they can't go without each other. It has developed, not just for the Dutch community, but just as an example. But you can start with small numbers as an after-school activity, and gradually, as numbers grow, you can start thinking of, and that has been the vision of the leadership at the IA, that in 2006 already, they said, well, we should also integrate as much as possible in the timetable and then in the curriculum of the school. But you can start modest, you can start as an after school, and then bring in students from other schools as well.
I think looking into the future, I'd like to think that with the population within Dubai, this sort of thing would only grow and grow and grow. We are one part of 4 other schools of our size and 10 nurseries, and we're even now talking to our other schools about, well, it doesn't make sense for us to all be doing the different languages, all doing the same languages. We should be concentrating on offering mother tongue in different languages in different schools, and that can build on that as well. I mean, with the amount of international people you have here, you certainly have the basis for almost any language, really, to start.
Those teachers that teach those specific languages, are
Yep.
they used throughout the school week for anything else, like support, or is it just entirely that's their school day is teaching that lesson
Yeah.
throughout the week?
At the moment, they're just used for that particular area. They do join in. We try to include them as much in any PD that we're offering, any training, any workshops, that type of things, staff meetings as well. But in terms of covering another class or helping out on duty, we don't ask them at the moment. And part of the reason for that is that to make it financially viable for these groups, and you want to be able to support them as much as possible, a lot of them will be paid by hour or paid on just the hours they're working rather than on the large block. Because they can have a situation where you might not have a mother tongue class starting today until like 11 o'clock. So that's another thing to weigh up.
What about the assessments? I mean, are they assessed in the similar manner that the main
Yeah.
subject school, or is it in a different way that you do it?
Much like the curriculum, the assessment has to be in line with the assessment practices from that country. So usually linked directly to that actual curriculum as well. Yeah. We've also appointed as our modern foreign languages coordinator, who really looks after French within our school, as the coordinator for the mother tongue classes within the school group as well, as a point of reference and communication to try and bring them together, because they've got a lot of learning, these teachers, that they can do together. So while there's no line management as such in that role, it's more of a supportive role in bringing those teachers together. And certainly when you get up to the sort of number of mother tongue classes we have, it really helps to be able to provide that for the school and the groups. Any final questions?
In the after-school programs also, the teachers, is it done informally by any parent volunteer, or is it again by qualified teachers?
That is quite separate from the school. It's a bit like if you were having a gymnastics paid class or a soccer class that people were booking out the field to do. It's really at the behest. It's after the school time, so we leave that to the school group.
For the Dutch, it's always 4 or 5
Yes.
staff
Yeah.
also in the after school.
Yeah. And you'd actually find that, you know, with many of the mother tongues, because they won't be doing a full teaching load necessarily, so they will be involved in other after-school activities.
How do you handle these issues when you have the similar group in one particular class? You were previously talking about the timetable, the convenience of setting a timetable, getting them in the same periods. So we have the same community or the group children in the same class. So we also often face this problem that they tend to, limit themselves within that or come up with issues which are very similar. There's lack of diversity.
Yeah.
So in those cases, how do you handle?
Well, we've gone through a number of different timetables, as you probably have over the years, trying to find your perfect one. And it changes depending on if your population is changing as well, or subject changes. We've made some changes from a 6-day cycle to a 5-day cycle recently. But, as I said before, solution before was having 3 classes and 2 classes to be able to enable that. But for that reason and a couple of other reasons, it didn't really work for, the whole picture or the whole school. So you've got to weigh up, it's great to be able to offer this as well, but the first thing comes first, which is the school timetable, and what you're offering is your core subjects, and then you need to be able to integrate it. But hand on heart, it's been one of the most worthwhile things we've done as a school, and adds so much to the community, but also to the students. You really see the benefit of it on a daily basis.
I think you've done a fabulous job. You're ahead of the game.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank our presenters for a wonderful and thought-provoking session. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you.